With this, very shortly, I introduce our speakers. We have today our experts from the EHS product team. We have Larissa Limarova and Lei Liu, who will go walk us through the presentation and share all the details. With this, I hand over to Lei, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Larissa, and also welcome from my side. And today, another Larissa and myself will walk you through some of the processes in the workplace safety area within the environment, health, and safety solution portfolio, and show you how to protect workers and reduce compliance risk with an AI-powered tool. Okay, with that, let's take a look at the agenda quickly. The first, I will give you a short recap what is actually SAP Environment, Health, and Safety Management portfolio. And then we will go a little bit deeper on the process level and capability level more in detail. And we selected some of the most important essential processes here, for example, incident management, including incident near-miss, safety observations, and also operational risk assessment, chemical management, as well as management of change. And at the end, we will also touch on the occupational health process a little bit, and then we will wrap it up and provide you some more further resources that you can explore yourselves as well. So with that, let's first have a short recap what is actually SAP EHS portfolio. Actually, the SAP EHS solutions or suite, I would call it, sitting in the digital core of S/4HANA. So the portfolio focus on the two major areas of environment management and workplace safety. So supporting these, we can see the underlying cross processes like compliance management, also the action and task management, which are the cross-function or cross capabilities that support the workflows in both areas. And these ensure the operational consistency and compliance as well as safety across the organization overall. And from an integration perspective, we see on the left hand that we also integrated seamlessly, for example, to the asset management and to HR processes and learning, for example. And also to ensure or manage compliance and safety responsibilities, drawing people data, for example, and also maintenance notifications, for example, and these kind of data we're sharing with the digital core. And then, for example, on the top, we have also analytical capabilities that we can pull the dashboards to view, for example, the complete compliance overview to see how compliant we are, right? And how the obligation fulfillment looks like. And we can also draw the insights on the workplace safety area to see the KPIs, for example, for OSHA. And we will come to that later. Then, of course, on top now we also embedded some emerging technologies like AI and to ease some of the heavy processes in EHS area. And we will also show you in some of our demos how AI really help our personas, help our business user to simplify their operation daily life. Okay, so then I will say let's start with the first process of the incident management. So incident management is all about dealing with accidents, injuries, near misses, and also unsafe conditions, and ensuring they're recorded, investigated, resolved, and reported efficiently. And this is very critical in a company to because a transparent structured approach helps us to protect the workplace, protect our employees, and create a culture of safety. So let's break down a little bit into the single process steps. First, imagine our persona, our employee Anna is no matter she's on the shop floor level or an office worker, for example. She noticed a liquid spill in the hallway, and this is a potential slip hazard, and she uses she can use the platform and use a software to quickly report incident in the system. And she might also record that as a near miss because she almost slipped herself. Of course, she can also could simply log a safety observation, such as a blocked fire exit, for example. And once the incident is logged, an automatic notification is sent to the responsible incident manager, here in this case, the Robin, our persona, and he can jump into action and gathering the details on that incident and also set up a team for an investigation. Let's say it turns out to be that the hallway had a history of similar spills, and the team can initiate a root cause analysis. Maybe a faulty pipe is behind these incidents. So then with the root cause clear, corrective actions can be executed. For example, fixing the pipe or updating the cleaning procedures, and preventive action can also be taken or also be introduced, like schedule the inspections and to stop this from happening again. And finally, we need to make sure that the case is closed properly and can be reported, whether it's for internal or for regulatory purposes. So people are in the middle of the process, and software can help them facilitate and drive more efficiency in their daily operations. That's why we care about actually both sides of the persons, that those who record the incident or safety observation, and those who actually deal with the process and also process the incident afterwards. And Anna, like the role as normal employee, she is actually expected to report everything, no matter it's severe accidents or unsafe conditions, potential risks, to able to contribute to foster a proactive safety culture. Only when every employee or all employees like Anna engage, then we can spot problems before they escalate. And on the other side, like Robin, the incident management, of course, also the team behind safety managers, for example, and they need to lead initial response and investigate the incidents, implement corrective actions, and communicate with the stakeholders, and of course, also make sure that everything is compliant with the regulations. So how SAP EHS software here is in particular workplace safety software can help and support this process. So first, the user can use different options like mobile device, even with offline possibility to record the incident accurately. So in the new release, we also enabled AI in the safety observation recording, that they can use the AI co-pilot to record safety observations in their natural language. That extremely lowered the barrier for people to actually report such kind of potential risks. And then the system offers different, of course, template and data structure to record the different types of incident, right? Making sure that sensitive data are stay protected. It also connects direct to HR data, so people data, and also other like mentioned asset management, for example, and streamline the updates and communication across departments. So notifications, follow-ups, actions are all workflow driven, make it easier for managers or stakeholders like Robin to stay informed and organized. This automation reduces manual work and ensure no steps are missed. And then safety metrics like incident rates are updated live, meaning stakeholders or leadership always has the up-to-date view of the safety performance. And all these capabilities mean we evaluate incidents across multiple sites, learn from the past, and spot trends. This reduces overall incident rates and severity, saves time on reporting, and ensure compliance, of course, leads to safer and more productive workplace. Then let's switch the view to another process, a very heavy process of the operational risk assessment, and it is actually the backbone of a strong safety culture within a company. So it's about consistently identifying hazards, understanding the risks, and taking action before an accident occurs. Here, the key role is played by the operational risk manager, or in some of the companies, of health and safety manager. Here in our persona, Bruna, for example, her job is to identify and assess hazards, prioritize which ones need urgent attention, and make sure that right controls are in place to keep workplace and operations safe. Again, we broke down a little bit into the single process steps. Suppose, for example, Bruna or one of the colleagues that noticed that workers are handling a new solvent near open electro panels, and she identifies multiple risks, for example, exposure to chemicals and the potential for fires. And each risk is documented and linked to a specific locations or job roles. And she can then assess these risks and how likely these hazards can cause harm and what would be the impact if they occurred. And she can also use tools to perform an initial analysis by using a risk matrix to score each hazard for probability or severity. And then based on the assessment data, the risk manager can set up the mitigation measures, for example, to ensure that chemical resistant gloves are provided and that equipment is checked regularly, for example, and she also schedules ongoing inspections to confirm the controls remains effective. And last but not least, the process does not stop after mitigation and continues monitoring to track whether the remaining risk is at an acceptable level or if new actions are needed, especially if changes occur in that plant. And this is actually a circular process for continuous improvement. Then let's look also how the software now also comes into place and help to revolutionize the entire flow. So it enables actually the complex risk assessment, including job hazard analysis. And this ensures that we have a standardized process, whether we're evaluating a new equipment, for example, or a routine procedure. Whenever the risk manager identifies a control action, for example, trainings, the system automatically tracks this to completion, reducing the risk of something falling through the cracks. And real-time dashboards, of course, help her to spot trends and prioritize urgent risks, for example. And the system ensures that hazard mitigation as well as control effectiveness are validated. It also produces formatted safety instructions for equipment and chemicals, helping everyone stay informed on the latest procedures. And here we also introduced the AI capabilities for the generation of generation of safety instructions. And then we will come to that in the demo to show you how exactly it looks like. And so with the software, so we can have or get a standardized but flexible approach to risk management. This means consistency, yet availability to adapt to different job roles and locations. More importantly, visibility into risks and controls are vastly improved. So everyone from the field worker to the executive get timely, actionable insights, which leads to quicker and more effective decisions. And allows very clear understanding of workplace exposures so that our health interventions are based on the facts, not guesswork. By automating the follow-ups and providing deep integration with, for example, asset management or learning management system, right? SAP EHS can reduce some of most of the manual workloads and also the chance of oversights. In summary, robust operational risk assessment is not just about compliance. It safeguards our most important assets, our people. So EHS gives us the structure, automation, and insight to do the work proactively, efficiently, and thoroughly. And with that, a lot of slides, a lot of information on the processes. Let's take a look at a tangible example and a demo how the process interact with each other in an integrated workflow. Okay, let's take this example. Our operator, machine operator Jake, he is working in a chocolate factory in the mixing room, and he removed the safety guard to speed up the work in order to impress his supervisor to show how efficient he can work. But by ignoring the safety actually guidances, a co-worker spotted that act and considered that as very unsafe action and would like to report it into the system as an incident, as a safety observation. And it turned out that the new hires is actually did not conduct the proper training to operate on this mixer machine. And of course, the safety instructions were also not up to date to reflect the reoccurring potential risks. And then we will show how to really streamline this process in the system directly. We will start with the safety observation recording by using the AI tool called Joule. That's the SAP's AI co-pilot. And after that, the system will inform the incident manager automatically, and he will create a task to assign to the risk manager to reassess the job hazard and also to update the controls as well as to close the gaps if there's any. And the next step, we will see that the skill gaps are as identified, and the risk manager can assign the training by using the integration to the learning management system to the operator. And then we will see also from other side that the operator will see his learning program appearing in his learning management system. And at the end, the last step, we will see how the safety instruction can get generated based on the latest assessment data, and by using AI, of course, here, and then provide a very easy generation of that procedure. Okay, then let's jump into the demo. Let's start with the recording of the safety observation with the co-pilot. As you can see, the Joule, the SAP's AI co-pilot, and we can talk that in the chat bot, and also type in the issue that I spotted in a natural language. And the system will detect the information and extract that information into a more structured way, and also guide the user by follow-up questions, for example, to detect whether any important information is still missing and to capture them. And with the confirmation of the user, the system automatically create a safety observation in the system, and then, of course, in the back end, trigger the workflow to inform the incident manager. Yeah, so here now the system has run, and there's the safety observation has been created after the confirmation, and the trigger or the notification is then sent in the background. Then as incident manager, I log into my daily interface of my software. In my inbox, I get this detail of that observation, which has been recorded by the coworker. And with that, I can simply review and open a task and say, hey, dear my operation risk manager or safety manager, please review the job hazard analysis and make sure that the controls are in place. And of course, they're up to date. And also, of course, the operator is also informed. Then I log on as risk manager here into the system, open the job hazard analysis, go to exactly the step of the mixing in that regard. And we can see here, we review the existing risk assessment and also the controls, and identify that operator has not conducted the training properly beforehand. And now I can really schedule or assign this training to that single person with a due date and priority to inform him, please conduct this training before you really operate on that machine. Let's see, we can choose the correct training and create that task and apply for the job hazard analysis in this case. Okay, after that, we will switch the perspective from the risk manager to the employee, to the operator. And here you can see that's the success factors user interface. And here, then the operator will see the training automatically appears in his training plan, and he needs to finish that and complete that in timely manner. And the completion will be then tracked again back to the EHS solution, right, to complete the task in the workplace safety. As the last step, the risk manager would like to generate a new safety instruction out of the latest assessment data from that job hazard analysis. And here, the system guide her through the steps and by also empower him with AI capability. With that, the location and the equipment, as well as the job and steps are selected. Exactly. And then review also the summary of that. Then the user just click on create. AI will give you a proposal of the text. And here we can see it is a template divided into different areas like hazard to human health and environment, protect measures and rules of conduct, for example. And user, of course, can review the text that AI proposed and modify them, update them based on their own need. And here, then we can just generate that document attached to the equipment. And of course, the content itself is also tailored for that equipment in particular. So with that, we have now seen the complete end-to-end process from a safety observation recording to the end of the safety instruction generation by using the system in a seamless flow, as well as by using some of the new technologies of AI. And with that, I will hand over to Larissa to walk us through some of the next process like chemical management.
Thank you, Lei. And let's take a look at another key process of SAP EHS workplace safety, chemicals management. So next slide, please. Many organizations use chemicals in their processes. It could be cleaning supplies. It could be some specialized industrial compounds. And some of those chemicals could be quite dangerous or hazardous. And then, of course, they have to be handled safely. They need to be accurately tracked. And also, they need to be properly disposed of when the need arises. So the consequences of poor chemical management can be quite severe. So we can have workplace accidents. We can end up with the regulatory fines for environmental damage. Or it can be quite severe reputational harm for the company as well, especially if this is something that is serious consequences, right? That's why it is quite vital to see this chemical management not just as a burden, but as an investment in a way. So if we look at it from this perspective, what can make this process efficient and reliable? So that's where digital systems similar to SAP Environment, Health and Safety solution comes into picture. And the ultimate goal of SAP EHS and any other solution in this space is actually to have a centralized repository for the chemicals data used or stored on site. And then this data can be leveraged in exposure and health risk assessments. It can also be used in the industrial hygiene sampling projects. and also used in the air pollutant emissions calculation. So it's essentially all hanging on this central repository. And if we look at the typical chemical management process, and that's SAP EHS process as well, it starts with the initial request for chemical approval of its use. And that request can be initiated by anyone in a company. It could be a technician on a shop floor, it could be someone in purchasing department, and so on. Once this request is raised, then it is followed by a very rigorous approval process. And that process includes various evaluations, checklists to ensure that the chemical is right for the job and that we completely understand the risk it poses, right? And next comes the inventory management and regulatory reporting. So once the chemical is approved, then it is used, and obviously now we have to manage the inventory and we need to report on it. So here we definitely need to keep accurate records and comply with regulations, for example, SARA 312. And finally, it's about utilizing this chemical data in risk assessments. And this is where we actively use the information to minimize potential chemical hazards. And this is essentially what the SAP EHS does, but it also benefits because, as Leah mentioned, it is a part of the SAP S/4HANA core. And that means that SAP EHS is fully integrated with the SAP materials management, and that allows for a real-time inventory reporting. It is also integrated with another SAP solution called SAP Product Compliance, which manages the life cycle of the manufacturing from the shop floor to the transportation and so on. And the way this is done, the integration is via the shared so-called compliance object. It's like a container for compliance relevant data, and it is used to manage and track compliance information throughout the whole product lifecycle. And of course, one aspect of that lifecycle is the chemical components and ingredients, if they are used in manufacturing or packaging or whatever of the product itself. So the benefits of implementing a strong chemical management system like SAP EHS are quite significant because it goes beyond just meeting compliance requirements. It empowers our teams to make safer choices, data-driven choices. It reduces the risk of accidents and overall it just improves workplace conditions. And a good system like SAP EHS can even embed the chemical workplace compliance into a standard risk assessment process because ultimately it's all about the same materials. And if we consider the impact of a good system like this on the bottom line of the business, so what do we get in return for such kind of investment of time and money in a good system? So we obviously, by reducing the accidents, we can lower the insurance costs. By improving compliance, we minimize the risk of costly fines. If we have a real-time inventory management, we can avoid overstocking and also waste. And ultimately, a strong commitment to safety, it enhances our company's reputation and also help us attract and retain top talent and also our customers. And now I think we are going to have a quick look into a system, maybe not as detailed as we had with the previous one, but it would be good to see all of this in kind of action and see how the system looks like, right? But before we go into the system, and just to set up, I would say, a scene for that. So ultimately, what happened was that we had a request to approve a new chemical, specifically cocoa-glucoside. We have asked to approve a usage of that into the shampoo production line. And then after this request was raised, there was an approval process, which was led by the dedicated hazardous substance manager. And he worked closely together in collaboration with also environment manager and operational risk manager. And the primary goal was to ensure that we fully understood the implications of this new chemical and maintain the highest standards of safety, obviously. And once the chemical was approved and it got into our inventory of the chemicals, then there was a thorough reassessment of operational risks. And this crucial step was essentially a part of the ongoing efforts to protect the health and safety of every individual on the shop floor. With this, we can also look a little bit into what are we going to see in our demo. First, we will start looking at the inventory of the approved chemicals, searching for our cocoa-glucoside, and then we drill into the details of that. And finally, at the end, we will take a look at the risk assessment, which was conducted after the approval. And with this, let's take a look at system. So we are in the S4HANA homepage. Oh, you have to play it. So we are in the S4HANA homepage, and we can see a couple of relevant tiles here, the application hazardous management, but also a tile for the view of the chemicals on different usage. And one of them is obviously production, which is of interest to us. So we drill in. At the moment, there is only one product which is relevant to it, and we can see that it's our cocoa-glucoside. It is approved for use indefinitely. We see some details, for example, what type of use we can apply for this particular chemical. We can see the attached safety data sheets, and obviously we have an approval, which is currently completed. So if we drill into that approval, we can see a bit more details. And most importantly here, we see a whole list of activities which were a part of the approval process. And here we have complete transparency. We see the status, we see when things happened, we see who was responsible for this. And the last one is a follow-up activity, which is risk assessment. And in this risk assessment, we can see different details, and we can also see different risks which were defined as relevant to this particular chemical. Right, when we drill down into it, we will see this list of different risks identified, and they are all categorized by their severity. And then most importantly is definition of what type of controls were defined to deal with this. And here we see the proposed personal safe protection items like safety goggles and also safety gloves. So in a way, to summarize what we have seen is we have seen that SAP EHS provides a centralized platform for managing all aspects of hazardous substances management, from initial request to the risk assessment. We have seen the use of analytical insights and dashboards, which obviously enables data-driven decisions. We have seen a structured, auditable process that ensures compliance and safety, and proactive risk assessments to identify potential hazards and the ways how to mitigate it. And the most important in all of this is that it's a very transparent system where all transactions are tracked and documented, and it provides a complete audit trail for regulatory compliance. And with this, we are going to move to our next process, which is management of change. And in any organization, management change is inevitable. It could be introducing the new equipment, it could be changing or fixing the equipment, it could be modifying processes, it could be altering workflows. And what's important is how we manage these changes, and how we do it is directly impacting the safety of employees and also efficiency of the operations. And with any change, there is a potential risk. And without a structured approach, even a tiny, minute modifications can introduce unforeseen hazards, things that we didn't think about. And they can lead to accidents, to downtime, and obviously regulatory issues. And a very good management of change process is not just a best practice, it's actually a fundamental requirement for a responsible business operations. And probably one of the most emblematic examples of insufficient change management that all of us have heard about was the infamous accident of the Deepwater Horizon platform in the Gulf of Mexico. And we have all seen the consequences of that to the people, because some people have died. There was also enormous effect on the environment, and ultimately a huge impact on the company that operated it overall, right? So here, to help with this significant business challenge, good management of change, SAP comes with SAP EHS solution. It's a module that provides a structured role-based approach for managing operational changes. And the process starts with the initiation of a change request, and then requester identifies the need for change and submits a request with all the relevant data, like the object and also description of what is changing or what needs to change. And then the request undergoes a review and evaluation phase, where the relevant stakeholders assess the potential impact and identify associated risks. And they also have here the predefined activities to assist this process. And following that is an approval and release step, where an approver checks the entire change request and decides if the change is necessary or not. And once approved, the execution of activities begins. And then the management of change coordinator checks the activities and adds additional ones if necessary. And then there is a final step, which is essentially a review of what was done and closure. So SAP allows to configure and streamline this entire process, providing a digital record at every step. And something similar to it we already seen in chemicals management, because it's also a change, right? And that ensures that record of all these steps ensures the accountability and transparency, which is so important in compliance management. So we can track the progress of change requests, we can assign responsibilities, we can automate notifications to keep everyone informed. And ultimately, we can use the system for practically any type of change. And one of the benefits, as always, of SAP solutions is that SAP EHS sits on top of SAP S/4HANA, which means that there is a tight integration with other SAP modules, for example, inventory management or SAP business rule framework, and that allows us to leverage existing data and workflows. And from user perspective, it's a very role-based entry screen with a very clear interface of what that particular person is interested in, what they have to do, and so on. And of course, SAP also provides real-time analytics and dashboards to track key metrics, to check the trends, and also monitor the effectiveness of the management of change process. And the key takeaway here is that SAP EHS management of change is a very powerful tool for ensuring workplace safety and operational efficiency, and also regulatory compliance. And it's all about creating a proactive and structured approach to manage changes and mitigate the risks associated with it, and hopefully having a safer environment for people and for the nature as well. And with this, it's back to you, Lee, to continue.
Thank you, Larissa. And now we have already seen a lot of these processes and capabilities, and we make a short kind of pause here and look at a little bit on the integration scenarios. So we talk a lot about the integrations, and let's see how it actually exactly looks like. Like we have this high level layout or high level visuals and how the data intake and output look like. And then we start from the bottom. So from the data intake perspective, we support different scenarios. From menu, for example, we see that we can manually type in their incident information. We can use online, we can use AI, for example, to report safety observations. Also in our solution, it also supports the offline capabilities for some, for example, rural operations that were without internet connection, for example, and also support different system integration scenarios. We talked already about enterprise asset management with asset informations, maintenance, notification, for example, and work orders, and this, for instance, and we also integrated with HR processes, people data, and also the training assignment, training completion tracking, that these are also very important for the risk assessment, for example. And last, we also touched a little bit is about their chemical information, and we have this integration with product compliance, have their compliance view object to share their detailed information of the chemical objects as well. And then we have also of the type of the different, for example, IoT data, like data historian and other operational data. They can come from the shop floor level and via, for example, middleware to be also integrated, included into the solution for further processing and for compliance or calculation, for example. And on this other side, for the data output, of course, it's very important to ensure the regulatory compliance. We support out-of-the-box OSHA reporting and the BG, the Berufsgenossenschaft in Germany, and also in UK, the reader regulation. And the other side, we have integrated reporting. So analytics help to really drive business continuity to see where are the pattern, where's the trends. And we have, of course, embedded capability already from S4HANA. We can see different dashboards, for example, workplace safety overview that we can draw from the data for incident, for example, calculation. And we can also from the environment part, we can also see a lot of different compliance overview dashboards, which are embedded in the solution directly. But of course, we can also use extended external software, analytics software like SAP Analytics Cloud to build your own individual dashboard to serve your own needs. That is a very general overview of the integration scenarios. And with that, I will then again shift a little bit the focus back to a very vital area of workplace and safety again. That is the occupational health. So the aim here is to protect people or employee health proactively by monitoring, assessing, and managing potential risks that can impact well-being on the job. Let's walk through what an occupational health process looks like, who's involved, and how SAP can make this work easier, more efficient, and more compliant. So at the center of occupational health management is actually the occupational health specialist. In this case, Anna. Anna's job is to ensure every employee's health is safeguarded based on the actual workplace risks. So she drives the occupational health process, tracks each employee's health history, and also make sure that the company meets all regulatory requirements. Let's break down again into the process into its main stages. Imagine a scenario in our production facility, for example, that where certain workers are regularly exposed to noise above safe levels. And the first task is to identify the hazard and complete a risk assessment, of course, to understand its impact. And then what it cause hearing loss, stress-related issues, or something else. Then next, of course, based on the facts of these risk assessment data, the specialist of occupational health can determine the appropriate medical protocol. And using EHS, for example, she can either select a standard protocol manually or let the system automatically propose a set of tests, examinations, and frequency based on the level of risk. So like, for example, annual hearing checks. And with these protocols in place, the specialist can also use the system to plan and schedule regularly the checks, for example. Yeah, and also can schedule the medical service here in this case with maybe also external providers, for instance, or affected employees can receive appointments for hearing tests or any relevant documentation or questionnaires to complete can be completed then ahead of time. So after execution of the medical service, result diagnosis or any recommendations, for instance, restricting time in noisy areas or providing specialized ear protection can be captured directly in the system. So in a centralized and standardized way. So easy and efficient for any follow-up actions or reporting. So how SAP EHS can support here, especially with the occupational health process, it lets you define the detailed health surveillance in a centralized standardized way, as I mentioned, and ensure the relevant medical test and monitoring. And the protocols can be assigned based on the job role or risk either manually or also automatically, which saves time and reduce administrative errors. And scheduling, reminders, and documentation are managed seamlessly, which increases employee participation, of course, as well as adherence. All examination records and follow-ups are stored centrally for clear case management and also auditability. So this approach ensures that everyone in the company who needs medical monitoring gets it when they need it. And the health data is visible and actionable. So it simplifies the compliance, reduces missed appointments, and allow, of course, our specialists to proactively manage workplace health risks. So why it is here, the lab preview sticker there. So it now will be fully baked. This capability will be fully baked into our workplace safety solution by end of this year, and first in the private cloud solution, and then later will be followed also in the public cloud version. So then we're towards the end of our presentation. I think we're good in time. What we have already heard, we have been worked through different processes like incident management, operational risk assessment, manage of change, and chemical management, including chemical approval and inventory. And we touch upon a little bit of the integration scenarios and the upcoming operational health is occupational health process here as well. And so for those who would like to also learn more about the product facts and product capabilities, please I will feel encouraged to visit our sap.com site And it's really easy to remember, sap.com/EHS- workplace safety, WS. So visit our website and to check out the latest and the features of our solution. And also do not forget to log to our community site, bookmark the site, because we will also regularly post new highlights, blog posts, and also other materials, including, for example, like such kind of webinar information there, and then keep you informed and updated. So with that, another thing I would like to mention, of course, if you probably also know, there is the SAP continuous influence site for our customers. If you're a SAP customer already, please feel also encouraged to submit feature requests or review the requests from other customers and vote on them. And it helps you to shape the future of our solution together and to meet your specific requirement and need of the solution. And with that, I would like to thank you all for the participation. I will open up the questions. One thing I would like to mention before we start the question is, as Larissa mentioned at the beginning, we have already 2 sessions in the past. One is on the overview for EHS overall, and one was a deep dive on the environment management part. And these recordings are available on the YouTube site. And Larissa, feel free to add those links to the YouTube recordings. Then feel free to check out and have a look at these recordings. So let me check whether there's any questions in the chat. And we have also some of our experts supporting us to answer those questions.
Yeah, I think we'll just summarize. There were quite a lot of questions about the licensing of SAP EHS. And there were some, I would say, changes within the last few years in this space. And ultimately, somewhere in 2026, SAP EHS will be only 2 products: environment management and workplace safety. And all the functionalities you need will be under these 2 product codes or materials. So those are the licenses you will need. Today, we still have a separate separate license for the occupational health. It's a repeatable custom solution. But this will change in Q4 this year. For the private cloud, occupational health will be reintroduced into the standard SAP EHS workplace safety. And this will happen for the public cloud in Q1 next year. So essentially, it all goes down to the only 2 licenses that you need to execute and have all the SAP EHS functionality: environment management and or workplace safety. And some of the functionalities, as you may have remembered on the initial slide that Leah was showing, for example, compliance management, audit and inspections is essentially shared between these 2 fundamentally big modules, right? So this was one question that was had some discussion in the Q&A. And the other question is about AI. So we have 3 AI assistance features. So one of them is an environment management. It is permit management functionality. And the other 2 are in the workplace safety, which is safety observation and safety instructions. So those are the 3. So they will be released in the August release of the SAP public cloud. At one point of time, it will be downported to the private cloud as well, but there is no timelines for this yet because our development strategy is public cloud first. So those 3 features will be released as the beta version, which means it's free for customers to use. You just need to sign a document agreeing to provide feedback. And the release to them into the standard operations will be based on the customer feedback that we have. So there is also no direct timelines on when this is going to happen. So today we have seen a demo for the two workplace safety use cases, but for the permit management, I highly recommend you to watch the environment management session that happened on, I think, the 4th of June. And there you see also a demo of the permit management AI assisted use case. And of course, we have a huge to-do list as well. With each subsequent release of the product, we will have more and more AI use cases, or I would say elaboration and make more mature the existing use cases as well. Okay, those are the, I would say, two major questions that have been asked in the session.
All right, I can see more questions in the Q&A part, and I can see already that Andreas and Larissa are typing the answers. There is one more open question that I might call up. Is incident mobile app as part of standard delivery for private cloud? Any additional tools app required to enable incident mobile app?
As far as I know, no. So essentially, it's a part of the standard product. And I'm trying to find the SAP help link to this. And once I find it, I will post it in this question as well.
All right, you can also post it in the chat.
Yep.
All right. Let me see if we... for those who are in the session, you might also decide to raise your hand and we will make you talk. And I can see one raised hand. This is from Shailesh. Let me try to unmute you. Shailesh?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thanks for the session. It was really a good session covering the topics which is most of the customers are looking. My question is regarding the occupation health. See, many customers who are using still the ACC component, the occupation health they are using same component what which was in between SAP has not released the in on the S4 HANA. Now recently as an add-on package, SAP has released the occupation health in S4HANA. Now, the question comes that when we look at the simplification list and try to migrate the OCC to our S4HANA, at that time only the questions are coming, right? Do you use the add-on component or you have the simplification list helping you to help us to migrate the existing data from the ECC to S4HANA?
So here's Andreas. Maybe I can answer that question. Hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Great, yeah. With S/4HANA on-premise and private cloud 2025, we will introduce the occupational health solution again in the S/4HANA standard. And even then, ECC customers could upgrade directly to OP 2025. So this is a conversion that we currently checked, and this will work without really major technical issues, I would say. Yeah. So there will be a migration part on upgrade path from either the ECC6 solution, or if a customer is using the S/4HANA solution with a occupational health add-on, it will also be possible to upgrade from that combination to the OP 2025 solution, where occupational health will be included in the standard delivery.
Thank you. Thank you. That helps. I have one more question regarding the SARA reporting. The US, the inventory report, what we in S4 HANA, currently this is released in S4 HANA SARA reporting. Now this functionality, which is does it cover complete both the SARA 311 and 312 both reports? The inventory part?
I don't think we have a direct answer to this. I think we will need to check and come back to you on this, Shaila.
Okay, okay.
All
Yes,
right.
that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We are already over the time, but we can definitely take one more question if there is one. If not, thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you to Larissa and Lei. And thank you, Andreas, for supporting the chat. I have put it already the links to the previous session, the overview EHS session, and the first deep dive session on environmental management. So feel free to check them. You will also receive a follow-up email with the links included for your convenience. And we are also working on the schedule for upcoming webcasts, but they will probably be offered in end of Q3, in Q4. So please stay tuned with us. Bookmark the SAP Community EHS page because their updates will be also published there. And yes, I assume with this let me see. There is one more question that we promised to answer. Do we have any plans for integrating, automating the safety observation based on visual inspection?
So there is no direct plans for the automating it, but obviously as the you can integrate with the custom development into any third-party video cameras or anything and use AI features or whatever to interpret it in a way, right? But there is no plans directly to have it as a totally out-of-the-box functionality in SAP EHS, at least for now.
All right. I hope this answered the question. At least I can't see any additional questions. Yes, I hope. Again, thank you very much. Thank you to our speakers, also to all the participants for being with us, for being so active and bringing up your questions. This is a very valuable information for us. And as I've already said, we are working on the schedule for Q3 and Q4. And stay tuned with us. The best way would be to bookmark the SAP Community EHS page that I've put already in the chat. With this, again, thank you everyone. Enjoy your day, evening, wherever you are, and hope to welcome you in one of our upcoming sessions. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.